In this video, we're going to complete the restoration for the Mac SE30 project. This will include some cosmetic restorations, reassembly, adjustment, and of course, testing. Let's see if it'll work. This is the part of the Mac SE30 project I've been dying to get to. When it's done, I should have a fully working classic Mac. To get this started, I think it's time to get the chassis ready to accept all the restored components. As you can see, the Mac we're working on has a lot of yellowing. In addition, the speaker's not working, and it is held in by melted plastic pins that are molded into the case. What I've decided to do is to use the case from the Mac that had all the battery damage. I suppose this technically means I'm restoring that Mac since the serial number is on the case. In the end, we should end up with something like the power supply, analog, and case from this Mac, and the main board and drives from the other one. I'm not sure yet which CRT I'm going to use. Once the CRT was discharged in the last video, I carefully removed it from the front cover. I also removed the corroded chassis to make way for the nicer one from the donor Mac. I gently cleaned the CRT with bottled water to get the bulk of the heavy dust off, then gently cleaned the grease from around the anode cap connection with alcohol. You don't want to get cleaning fluids or anything into the port where the anode cap connects, so be very careful around that edge. The cleaning method I'm using for the plastic covers is to do a cleaning with glass cleaner to get the easy grime off. Occasionally I'll use a little alcohol for stubborn adhesive residues. Then I use a magic eraser with glass cleaner to get stubborn or embedded grime off. I'm always very gentle with the magic eraser. It's like a very fine sandpaper and can leave your plastics with a chalky look if overused, so take it easy. I'm really pleased with how this front cover came out. I continued to clean the rest of the case, but we'll skip over that because I'm pretty sure we all know how to do this. Once the covers were completely cleaned, I used Aerospace 303 on them. This is an amazing product that I've used on my cars for years. It leaves a nice UV-resistant shield on the covers. Be sure you do this after any retro brighting or light brighting because it'll interfere with the process. Ask me how I know. Hey, I want to apologize if you guys get any hammering in the background. I've got some contractors working on a old shed out here that we're going to turn into a shop for metal and woodworking type stuff. Because I kind of took over the shop we were going to use for the electronics. It just kind of grew until it took the whole space instead of the half that was allocated. Aww. The corroded chassis was a real mess, so we just moved the chassis from the other Mac into this one. Oddly, the PDS port chassis piece was corroded on the replacement chassis while it was fine on the corroded chassis, so we'll swap them over. We also selected the best hard drive and floppy drive mounts and installed them along with the known working hard drive and the floppy restored in a previous video. We then proceeded to reinstall everything that had been restored in previous videos. Since this is my first classic Mac, I did not connect everything in the ideal order. I can't wait to get everything together and see how things are working. This is one of the most powerful Macs of its time, and I would love to upgrade it. So I am using dielectric grease. I'm going to put a teeny bit around here. I do not want any of this or anything going in the hole there. I just want it around the edge here. Okay, it's attached. In the future, I'll connect the cables to the analog board before installing and the power, floppy, and hard drive cables to the main board as it's being installed. It was a real struggle getting them connected after assembly, and I had to be very careful not to damage the CRT neck. The standard ROMs limit how much RAM you can install because they only support 24-bit addressing. With some new pure ROMs, you can get 32-bit addressing for the full 128 megs. It would also be so cool to add a more powerful processor board, but before all that, I plan to add a floppy EMU and BlueSCSI board so that I can install software from the web and end the reliance on a 30-year-old hard drive. Now for the moment of truth. It's time to let the electrons in and see if they try to escape. There's still a little flickering on the screen. Since I'm new to Mac and never was a CRT expert, I brought the issue to the experts on the Vintage Macintosh Restoration and Preservation Facebook group. These guys are awesome. I tried several suggestions, such as ensuring the anode cap is in good contact, that the neck board ground is secure, and that the analog board solder is in good shape. Nothing helped, although it does go away after the machine is warmed up for a few minutes. I suspect it could be the burned Molex connector, so I'll replace it when parts arrive. In the end, I fear the issue is with the flyback transformer, and since a replacement is $150, this will have to do for now. Alright, so that is the brightness as absolutely bright as it'll go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust it up until I start seeing the retrace lines, and then I'll turn it back down a little bit. So this is, again, non-conductive, completely plastic. Don't ever do this with a metal screwdriver. All right, so as I adjust the brightness, that way's clearly the wrong way. So as I turn it up, now I can see the retrace lines coming back up. So now I'm going to back it off a bit. And then that's the lowest setting, that's the brightest setting, and that's in the middle. So the keyboard's had a little bit of light brighting, and I'm just going to knock some of the remaining dust out of here. These Macs did not come with a mouse and keyboard, but I was able to pick up a set at an awesome local Mac support company, TechMedic Computers. They needed a good cleaning since they probably spent the last 15 to 20 years stuffed under a workbench, but they seemed to work perfectly. I was able to improve the look of the keyboard with a little light brighting, but the Mac's back cover did not improve, probably because I'd already treated it with the aforementioned Aerospace 303 UV protectant. Order of operations is important. So let's take a look, see what we get. It's interesting, after it's been on a little bit, the flickering goes away. Beep, beep. Mouse works? Man, that's a terrible DPI though. I did a bit of testing, and it will boot off the floppy or hard disk, and the exciting software such as Word and Excel run great. Excel version 4, copyright 85 to 92. I have to admit, I'm something of an Excel geek, so I really don't mind. And we're booting off a floppy, all right. I hope you liked this video. Let me know if you have any suggestions on the flickering while it's warming up. And here's another video just for you.